Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel. The world mourns today over the loss of Nelson Mandela, known as South Africa's first black president, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, and the man who defeated his country's racist apartheid system. Across the globe, leaders are paying tribute to a life that changed the world. Today, South Africa is a heartbroken country. Nelson Mandela passed away peacefully Thursday at the age of 95.
He is now resting. He is now at peace. Our nation has lost its greatest son. Our people have lost a father.
Across the globe, national leaders and ordinary citizens alike are mourning and celebrating Mandela.
A moral giant who embodied the dignity and the courage and the hope and sought to bring about justice, not only in South Africa, but I think to inspire millions around the world.
Nelson Mandela was a giant for justice and a down-to-earth human inspiration.
Bishop T.D. Jakes said of Mandela, "I am deeply saddened to have lost such an enduring symbol of freedom and liberty. Nelson Mandela was an elder statesman who embodied the very essence of servant leader. And the legacy of the man who taught the world it's possible to transform anger into hope will live on." Mandela grew up feeling the shackles of South Africa's brutally racist apartheid system. For 20 years, he led a nonviolent campaign against the government. But then his philosophy changed to one of armed struggle. In 1964, he was sentenced to life in prison for planning to topple the government. When he was finally released in 1990, he had a much more tolerant attitude towards his opponents in the government.
Nelson Mandela understood we cannot hold these grudges if we hope to go forward. There must be some forgiveness. It is not justice that's going to cure the distortions of human community. It is the forgiveness of sin. He was able to forgive.
In 1994, Mandela's dream was realized when black South Africans cast their first ballots in a democratic election, and Mandela became South Africa's first black president. He stepped down in 1999, handing power over to the next generation, from a fighter to a symbol of democracy, freedom, and reconciliation. Nelson Mandela lives on in hearts around the world. Next week, South Africa will hold a memorial service at a 95,000-seat stadium. The White House says President Obama will attend the service. The White House has changed its story after claiming that President Obama never met his uncle, a man who violated U.S. immigration laws for 5 decades. At a deportation hearing this week, Omar Obama said Barack Obama lived with him briefly when he was at Harvard, contradicting earlier White House claims. After Omar Obama was arrested for drunk driving just before the 2012 election, the White House told the Boston Globe that President Obama never met him. Now they admit that wasn't true. White House spokesman Jay Carney says Obama officials had looked for records of a meeting, but never directly asked the president. Young people are abandoning President Obama in big numbers. In fact, many of them would vote to throw him out of office. Those are some of the findings from a new poll by the Harvard University Institute of Politics. The president's approval rating among young people has fallen to 41%. And 52% of those from 18 to 24 say they would vote to recall the president if they could. Younger Americans don't like Obamacare or the government surveillance program, and they're concerned about their future. The poll also found a growing disillusionment with both parties and Congress. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has granted his staffers exemption from buying insurance through Obamacare. Reid has been one of the strongest supporters of the new health care law. GOP House Leader John Boehner and House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi have both directed their staffs to join the exchange. Reid's decision is drawing sharp criticism from Republicans. In a statement, Texas Senator Ted Cruz said Senator Reid's decision to exempt his staff from Obamacare exchanges is the clearest example yet of Obamacare's failures and Washington hypocrisy. His staff worked to pass it and continued to promote it. Now they don't want to be part of it because it's a disaster. A spokesman for Harry Reid says they're just following the law. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says it's going to use every resource at its disposal to fight the skyrocketing number of federal regulations. Chamber President Tom Donahue says the red tape has grown at an unprecedented rate under President Obama. The Hill newspaper reports Donahue warns the massive number of regulations amounts to a fourth branch of government. In a speech Tuesday, Donahue also said the government doesn't have any way to get rid of unnecessary rules on the book. 1 in 6 veterans struggle with mental health and drug mental issues. Many of these men and women who once protected our freedoms find themselves in trouble with the law. This week in Washington, the spotlight was on one promising program that could keep vets fighting addiction out of jail. John Waggy has more.
Returning to a normal life can be a big challenge for the defenders of our country, especially the 2.5 million who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. One group estimates that the number of veterans treated for mental illness or substance abuse has jumped nearly 40% in the past 10 years. At a conference this week in Washington, advocates hailed the judge-supervised programs, saying they have a high success rate in keeping people out of jail and can do the same for veterans trapped by addiction. One such advocacy group, the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, participated in the conference. In a recent television interview, the group's CEO, West Huddleston, said, "We can literally cut crime up to 50%. That saves taxpayers a ton of money." A drug court graduate says it saved his life. "I started to have pieces of my life that I had lost come back to me," he told viewers on the same program. Drug court advocates want to see these programs target vets who are struggling with addiction as well, and government leaders are hopeful.
Instead of either jailing veterans who have been brought up in charges or simply releasing them back to the streets, you have underwritten treatment as a powerful option for dealing with those who have broken our laws.
The NADCP claims 75% of their graduates remain arrest-free at least 2 years after leaving the program. They also say taxpayers save more than $3 in criminal justice costs for every dollar invested in the program.
If we're going to break the cycle between incarceration and homelessness, we'll have to raise our level of collaboration and leverage all of our assets to address these factors which seem so pervasive when dealing with troubled veterans.
John Waggy, CBN News.
Freezing temperatures continue sweeping through the nation. The National Weather Service issued winter storm and ice warnings in various places from Texas to Indiana. Some parts of the Midwest expect to see several inches of snow. The storm system has already blasted through the plains with sub-zero temperatures, dumping 1 to 2 feet of snow in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Grocery stores are selling out as people stock up on food and supplies. Citrus growers are fighting the freezing conditions to protect their crops. As the storm moves east, ice storm warnings are in effect and power outages are expected. A nativity scene in a western Maryland town has sparked a backlash from atheists. The scene first went up last year as a community effort by the Hancock Council of Churches. But this year, the Freedom from Religion Foundation is fighting against the nativity. The town manager told the atheist organization the nativity scene is not state-sponsored. A sign will be posted next to the scene saying the area is set aside for exercising First Amendment rights and that the town is not affiliated with the display. An anonymous diner has been leaving generous tips at restaurants across the country, signing each simply "Tips for Jesus." Lori Johnson has the story.
According to the mystery man's Instagram account, he's, quote, doing the Lord's work one tip at a time. One of his latest stops, Moondog's Bar in Port Orchard, Washington.
It's very unique, it's like a lightning strike.
The staff of Moondog says a stranger at the end of the bar rang up a $576 check after buying everyone around. Then he left a $5,000 tip.
Are you sure this is what you want to do? And the guy goes, absolutely, I've made a ton of money in my life. This is my way of giving back.
The tip was divided up among all the staff, each person getting $500.
Well, I have 2 little girls, so they're going to get a good Christmas this year.
This isn't the first time the mystery tipper has struck. $500 on a $24 bill in Hollywood, California. $3,000 on an $87 bill in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and the list goes on. Some regular customers of Moondog's say those at the restaurant deserve it. Every year they give away free holiday meals to people in need.
This last Thanksgiving, we gave 330 meals out.
No one knows who the mystery tipper is or where he'll go next, but it's sure to show up on his Instagram account, Tips for Jesus. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, celebrating the Jewish tradition of Hanukkah. We'll show you where it comes from in the Bible.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dog. He taught me the true value of this paper dog. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Millions of Americans with an ostomy live their lives to the fullest every day. And over the last 10 years, thousands have chosen Liberator Medical as their caring and reliable resource for ostomy supplies. Liberator Medical is a nationally accredited Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provider, so we can handle all your Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance paperwork and billing. And Liberator Medical has been chosen as a preferred supplier by all the leading ostomy manufacturers, including Coloplast, Hollister, Convatec, and Generics. We supply all these leading ostomy brands, so you can always get the ostomy supplies and accessories you want and trust. And all of our ostomy care specialists are product certified by the manufacturers. Shipping is free and discreetly delivered right to your door. Unhappy with your present ostomy supplier? Call Liberator Medical and ask about our free ostomy sampling program. We also offer catheters and urological supplies.
Call 1-800-513-3076. That's 1-800-513-3076.
The Life of Trinity Broadcasting Network co-founder Paul Crouch will be celebrated publicly on television. The program will air at 7 and 11 p.m. Pacific time this coming Sunday and 2 p.m. Pacific Monday. Crouch died Saturday at the age of 79 from heart problems. However, he never let that slow him down in the work he believed God called him to do. Condolences are still pouring into TBN. Evangelist Arthur Blessed wrote, "I'll miss my friend, but there is joy in heaven where millions of people are thanking him for sharing Jesus with them." For 8 days at this time of year, Jewish people around the world celebrate Hanukkah, a holiday marking a great victory 2,000 years ago. Chris Mitchell visited the old city of Jerusalem and shows us the beautiful lights marking this year's celebration.
Thousands of Israelis come to Jerusalem's old city at Hanukkah to celebrate and see the lights. All over the world, Jews say special prayers, thanking God for miracles past and present, and light a special candelabra or menorah called a Hanukkah for 8 days.
This is a holiday about spirituality. This is a holiday about values. This is a holiday about connecting to God. So many Israelis come here. Everybody's attracted to the light.
Also known as the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah is not mentioned in the Old Testament, but it is in the New Testament. Now it was the Feast of Dedication in Jerusalem, and it was winter, and Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. CBN News joined Rebecca Spiro and her family for the Jewish celebration.
It's a holiday that celebrates religious freedom and our victory against oppression and our ability to rededicate the temple.
And her children?
The presents and the parties and the lots club. We have groups coming all the time, and we go on trips, and it's fun, and it's just fun.
In the 2nd century BC, the Jewish people in Judea revolted against the Syrian Greek conquerors. The Seleucids tried to impose their culture, forcing the Jews to eat pork and forbidding Sabbath observance, Torah reading, and circumcision. Worse still, the Seleucids defiled the Jewish temple in Jerusalem and dedicated it to the Greek god Zeus. Led by a priestly family known as the Maccabees, the Jewish people retook Jerusalem and rededicated the temple. But when they wanted to light the menorah, there was only a tiny bit of sacred olive oil left.
We celebrate the 8 days that the menorah burned, which is miracle. It was beyond nature, and also the military victory.
Eating fried foods like potato pancakes and jelly donuts is another Hanukkah tradition. Spiro's family and neighbors also have their own personal tradition to build unity between secular and religious Israelis.
Every single year we bring out a table of drinks, and thousands of people come to the old city for Hanukkah to look around and see the menorahs and light, and then we give out hot drinks to all the people that come.
Spiro says there's a message in the holiday for today.
The world's coming up against Israel. The wolves are circling the sheep. This is nothing new. And the message of Hanukkah is that no matter what happens, our candles burn bright. And civilizations have come and gone, but the Jewish people are still here.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem's Old City.
Up next, we head straight into the middle of a hot debate over dividing Jerusalem. Find out who is taking a stand for Zion after this.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
It is the hot button issue that has long split the Middle East. Should the holy city of Jerusalem be united under Israelis or divided between the Jews and Palestinians? Scott Ross took to the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv to ask the people who live there what they think.
Jerusalem. Its name means city of peace. Yet it's been destroyed, rebuilt, conquered, and reconquered more times than any other city in history.
The city has a role to play. It's the center of the world.
For 19 years, Jerusalem was divided between Israel and Jordan, with the old city on the Jordan side. In 1967, the Six-Day War led to the reuniting of the city under Israeli sovereignty. Now, part of the U.S.-backed peace process seeks to split the city once again. But Israel maintains Jerusalem is its eternal, undivided capital. Palestinians want the eastern part for the capital of a future state. But Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat told me dividing the city is impossible.
It cannot be divided. It will never function as a divided city. It has to be one physical city, enabling all to worship their faith their way, to respect each other, and there's room for all.
Can you convince Palestinians of that?
The Palestinian residents that live in Jerusalem understand that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm also a high-tech entrepreneur, a venture capitalist.
Yes.
it will never work. There's not one good example of a city that was split that ever functioned.
Jerusalem is mentioned by name more than 800 times in the Bible, even more if you count synonyms like the city of David and Zion. 660 of those references are in the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament.
I remember this very day. I sat in the park, my kids were playing in the park, and I realized when Zechariah said there will yet be a time when old men and old women rest on the canes and children will play in the streets of Jerusalem, maybe my kids were what he saw.
I sat down with author and businessman Moshe Kempinski and asked him about the Jewish connection to this city.
What does Jerusalem mean to the Jewish people? I mean, it's like an inane question, but, why Jerusalem?
Well, it's a name because, it could be a name because why Jerusalem? Why not a city next to resources on the shores, which is where most people put their capital cities? But God chose it.
The city being divided at one point, reunited again in 67. Will it be divided again?
I don't think it can be. Psalm 122 says, to Jerusalem that is built as a city that is compacted together. But in Hebrew, it doesn't say compacted. In Hebrew, it actually says, shechubra la yachdav, that's reunited together. God is saying, this is a city that will be torn asunder, but then I'm going to bring it back together.
I talked with Israelis in Tel Aviv. They say they're willing to share the city, but not divide it.
My heart, it's something that I cannot agree with.
Right.
That my town gonna be separated.
We believe that Jerusalem is supposed to be Jewish forever, but I do believe that there's supposed to be a solution that's going to be good for the both of the people.
Kempinski says God has a plan for the city, whether the world believes in it or not.
What do other nations say when you, or other groups say, when you speak the way you're speaking now, with your argument, your point of view? How does a Palestinian respond to that?
The secret, I think the secret to understanding this country is that facts are completely irrelevant.
Facts are
completely irrelevant. Reality is not what counts here. Perception of reality is what counts. And I believe that to understand what goes on here, especially with the Palestinians, is you need to understand what they perceive. They really believe what they believe because they've been told that's what they need to believe. So dialogue with a Palestinian today has become almost impossible because Islam has moved into an area where it's become impossible.
Jerusalem is never mentioned by name in the Quran, but Muslims interpret a reference to the furthest mosque being Al-Aqsa Mosque on Jerusalem's Temple Mount. Muslims and Arab Christians are passionate about their connection to the city.
This is all Arab town. This is Arab town, can't be divided.
They even argue among themselves.
I didn't say to give. You can't divide the whole city. I say to give. Jerusalem, I said it's only for Palestinians. And it's not Israeli. Israel outside the occupied territory. Where is Zion Gate? What you are going to do with the Wailing Wall?
Here's the issue right in front of your eyes.
The Wailing Wall, they could have the Wailing Wall and the Armenian Quarter.
As one of the most contested places on earth, the Bible says Jerusalem will be a stumbling block to the entire world.
We pray for the peace of Jerusalem. What are we praying for?
The word for peace is
shalom.
Shalom. It comes out of the word shalem, complete. Right. We're praying for that completion, when the heavenly and the earthly will be clearly seen as being united. It's not a future event, it's a future revelation.
Do you think it's going to happen in your lifetime?
I believe it's imminent.
Scott Ross for CBN News, Jerusalem.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the Invent Help Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose?
Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
A new Christmas movie is out in theaters that might just be worth your time. For our regular family-friendly movie reviews, we turn to Bob Waliszewski from Plugged In Online. He brings us this quick look at the movie called Black Nativity.
In the movie Black Nativity, Langston is a young Baltimore teenager with a lack of purpose and identity. At least some of this is due to the fact that he's never known his father, doesn't even know his name, or really anything about him. But he loves his mom, a single mother working 2 jobs to keep them going. At Christmas time, Mom feels she has no other choice but to put Langston on a bus to New York City to spend the holiday with her estranged parents. It's not forever, mind you, just until she gets back on her feet financially. Langston hates the idea, but he's given no choice. Once he arrives, everything seems to confirm his apprehension, from the rough neighborhood to his grandparents' tough household rules that he finds hard to swallow.
The Reverend's putting on his Christmas show, Black Nativity.
Well, count me out. I don't do church.
Choose for yourselves this day which God you will serve. But as for me and my house, and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Whatever.
Somehow he tells himself he's got to get out of New York and back to Baltimore, even if that means doing something he might later regret. This is a Christmas movie that repeatedly reminds viewers, in song and in dialogue, about the real reason for the season. In addition, themes of reconciliation and redemption are underscored, while showing how one selfish decision, even if made with the best of intentions, can become a divisive wedge. On the downside, well, not much, but some bad boy attitude has me knocking down the rating just a bit. That said, Black Nativity still deserves 4 Christmas Eve services out of 5 for family friendliness. For more on this film, be sure to check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
And that's it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day. God bless.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. click and read a commentary, or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.